guys, welcome back. We are once again in the medieval charter challenge that I've been setting up. This is actually going to be the last video I record of 2022, and I'm actually recording it on the 31st of December for once, the day that it's being posted, because I do not have motivation lately. I actually did the first video with subtitles that I was working on, and that was very confronting because you learn a lot about yourself. See, I just did it again, cuz. I don't say because anymore, I just say cuz, and I hate that. Learned that about myself. Hate it. So anyways, we're just gonna move along. So I wanted to go ahead and record this video. I'm almost done with this particular biome. This is the Grasslands section. I'm working on the kind of the merchants. And what I decided for these, well, the game decides not to respond because it does that. I wanted the actual structure of the house to be identical all down the row, because this is one of the larger areas in the neighborhood. Not even the neighborhood, like, this is a big biome. This is a large biome, which I decide by, like, I've explained it. I roll the dice to determine how many lots they'll have for peasants, how many lots they'll have for Yeoman, etc., which are the merchants. And they had 6, so you can see you've got them all down in a row. I'm stuck to the color scheme: reds, blues, yellows, greens. They're all in different colors with like this different patterning up at the top. It's a Tudor wallpaper technically. But yeah, one of the things that I did, since they were all going to be identical, I've done this before. That one has a different roof, but you know what I mean. I have done this before in like text and picture form, but I've never done a video of it. But essentially what you do is you create a template and you set up your palette. It's more than a color palette, since obviously it's more of an item palette, but this helps me decorate lots really quickly when I'm doing things like this, where I'm trying to fill out a large area. I don't care so much if the houses are similar or I want them to be similar. Like, I could have gone in and actually changed the shape of all of these houses as well. Like, I changed the roof on the one, but like if you change the roofs on all of them, you move them one tile back, you make one story, you add a wing here, like you just do little things, which I will link that tutorial that I did down below to show how you can do that to really make them all look vastly different, even though you're starting off with the same basic structure. But in this case, I didn't really want to do that. I wanted the outbuildings to be different, so like here and here, you can kind of see they have different outbuildings, but for the most part, I wanted them to be very similar. And so that's what we have here. With the Grasslands, I explained a little bit with the Jarl, like this is a very military kind of biome. Like there's a large focus on defense and also offense, but just like protection in general. Alright, I had to check what cheats I had on. So the peasants, which you'll see in the main video, they don't really get this obstacle course, but all of the Yeoman have. That's such a weird word. I don't like that word. I don't know why I don't like that word, but I really don't. They all have one of these obstacle courses. They also have this little fighting dummy over here and an archery station, because everyone in this area is like gonna be an archer. So anyways, like I said, I set up my palette. I have the basic set of wallpapers that I planned on doing. Right now I've got 2 yellow, a red, and then I have 2 different shades of blue. This one is also blue. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it blue or not, though. If my game would, like, get a move on, that would be spectacular. And yeah, I had 4 door choices, 3 window choices. Just tried to keep it as simple as possible, especially when you set up, like, this palette-like system. You don't want to get crazy complex. I do have this green, but I did use it on the peasant lots, so I don't want to use it for these. I wish I hadn't used it on the peasant lots, but it's too late. So I could do this blue, but then it's like yellow, yellow, blue, blue. I don't want to do that. I could do red. Red's over there. Then there would be only one of these faded blue, which I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to take out this outbuilding because we're going to put it elsewhere. And I decided ahead of time, like, kind of what their different careers were going to be, so that I could basically plop all the items, and as I went, being like, okay, this one's going to be the Cooper, this one's going to be the this. And the last one left, which is the one we're doing right now, is they're basically going to craft different honey products and also butter. Because the peasants are going to be the ones actually gathering the raw materials, and then the yeomen are actually, they're going to be buying those materials from the peasants and using them to make goods. Probably in the beginning, I'm going to have to let them buy goods from the catalog, because there's just not going to be enough for them to get started. So the honey press, I'll have to check. I didn't put any of the butter stuff out. But yeah, see, I had a leather worker, I had a butcher. Oh, I had someone who did like preserved meats. I can't remember what the other things are off the top of my head, but you get it. Oh, and a brewer. There was also a brewer. So yeah, let's go ahead real quick here and paint this building. It's also very, very simple, because it's just you do the end pieces and then you paint the main part. This is a two-story house, isn't it? Okay. She says, it's so simple, as she messes it up. That's okay though. Things happen. Things happen. I'm just gonna Bob Ross it over here. Happy little trees. Okay, and then I need to change the top bit. I mean, I guess I could leave it that. I just don't want it to be blue like that one is. If I did a light green? That could be cute. It's a little Christmassy, but it's okay. Okay, so now let's build the outbuilding for them. I don't think that they need too much. Barrels, leatherworking. Oil production, pumpkins. I thought about having them do oil as well, but I'm not going to do that. Herbs and spices, market vendors, candle crafting, tea and coffee, I skipped one, griffins, winemaking, rabbits. Where the heck is my butter? Butter. I really need to reorganize these. I had them all nice and pretty, but then like you download a new one and it ruins everything forever. That is what I'm maintaining. Okay, butter really doesn't need that much, so we need the churn. Do we need these? No, that's an ingredient. Yeah, okay. Those are all just ingredients. Oh, the pull. Okay. Because, well, that's going to go in the Sims inventory. All right, and then also honey. Bees, bees, bees. Yeah, I used to not keep the little crafting folders because I was like, I don't need those. Surely I will remember what this entails. No, I will not. These sets are amazing, but I don't have that attention span, and I recognize that about myself, so. All right, hold up. It's just this? Because they're not going to keep these. They're just going to make the honey. Okay, cool. So they really don't need too large of an outbuilding, which I like. So I want it to be kind of over here. And since they don't need much, what if I do like an open concept kind of thing? Actually, what if I do a really open concept? Because maybe like this is the poorest of the merchants. So they really don't have too much. Okay, I'm gonna put them all there. Sometimes the game's like, all right, I'll let you have it. No. Normally I would do like the little shed wall, but this area specifically is, they're supposed to have very high-pitched thatched roofs, so I don't wanna, but does that look too weird? I don't think so, because in Skyrim they had those weird horse sheds that were like that. And if Skyrim can do it, I can do it. Why? Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna have to paint it anyways, it's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Let's go down one, because... Yeah, see? All fine. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with these. I honestly would have finished them earlier, but I was toying with the idea of making this video and that I didn't want to finish anything, but this just makes it so much easier because you don't have to pick things out. At this point, I know these are the only plants that I'm going to use, these are the only items that I'm going to use, these are the items that I need to use and need to have space for. Like, all of them have this little mouse or dog, and all of them have a horse. Some of them I did give a hanging hive. Like, it just makes it so much easier. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to have the horse pen be there. I've used this tree twice, and that's a very distinctive tree. Yeah, see, I've used it over there, and I think I used it... I know I used it twice, I just don't know which. I can't see that far, but I know I used it twice, so I don't want to use it 3 times. I think twice is plenty, so we'll stick with these trees here. And since I've already limited kind of what trees I'm using, it helps. It helps greatly. So let's delete these. That was one thing that I wish I hadn't done with my templates, is I pre-placed windows and doors. And I probably shouldn't have done that because I want them all different. But it's not too hard to delete them. And then of course I have the neighborhood on, so I can see, okay, this one across the street is this door. I don't want to reuse that. This one I think is that teal one, so I don't want to use that. I'm fine with either using this dark red one or this brown one. Since the building is red, I don't want to use that one. So this is the door that we're going to use. And then they need a back door. And then I'm going to use the windows that matches the closest. Oh, that was... And I'm just really placing these at random. I'm not trying to make them match or anything. I've gotten much better when it comes to like not forcing symmetry. Because again, in the real world, either in the medieval times or now, like, windows are not symmetrical. Yeah, it's just not, they think about how it's going to look on the inside. That's all they care about. And so I'm trying my best to abide by that. Alright, I know that the fence next door is this one. I know that I've used this green one. I tried to do 6 fences, but now I'm struggling to remember which ones I've used. The red one is over there. As you can kind of tell, I think that's a brown one. What did you use? I think that's that light one. So you are the green fence. This is just, this is the Christmas house apparently. This is where you get honey and butter at the Christmas house. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Another thing I've been doing with this specific group of homes is not fencing like the entire lot necessarily. Like, I've been leaving parts cut off because it shouldn't really be all fenced. Like, not every single person on the planet has this big square setup, you know. And I do little things to make them special, like they're the only ones who are going to have a horse path or paddock that's not perfectly square. And they also have this open shed. I know I think I have not used this black one. So we'll use this one. And you haven't seen the peasant areas yet, but those have a lot more open space as well. These are more pathed, is the word I'm going to use. And making sure they still have spawners, because that's important just for, you know, feeding animals or whatever I'm trying to feed. Also making sure that they have to handle pests if they don't have pets. But I have learned to make sure that those are somewhere that I can find them easily, so I'm making sure in all of them they are next to a door. And since a lot of them are very hard to spot, like you can see that there's the grass. Oh, no grass. I'm putting that bat spawner, the sticks, this one. Oh goodness, can't even grab it. This one. Next to the little piles of grass, so I know, okay, these are spawners. Because if it gets to be too much, I can remove them. It's not like a requirement to have them, it's more, I just like the idea. Butter churn. That's fine. Okay. So yeah, everybody has a horse. And I am using these, they're from Blue Heaven Sims, all the pretty horses set, which I really enjoy. I might let them have 2 horses. It's hard to use the ones where they're running though. Because, wait, is that one supposed to be dead? I don't want to use one that's technically supposed to be dead. Yeah, no. If it was sleeping, it would be fine, but that one technically says dead. I don't want to do that. And we'll make theirs. Little dapple gray. Alright, I need to change the mane on that one, that's not right. My black one. Okay, that's better. Okay. Oh, there's a little butter dish in there. And the only spawner that's not going by the door is the gopher one, just because that one is pretty easy to spot. So we have our fencing put in. I need to put some gates in now. Why isn't that green? Why doesn't this fence come in green? This is what goes together. Why is it not green? Why does it hate me? I bet this does not come in green either. Let's find out. Let's find out. Let's see how annoyed I'm going to be in this specific moment. Okay, good. It does come in green. I was going to be very upset. It's not perfect, but I don't think I'm going to get any better than that. Yeah, we'll do that too. Why not? Why not? I don't want to put it there though. Put it there. Yeah. And then we'll put one here. Does it go all the way? Ah, I don't like that. And one more there. Let's fix the road while we're at it. I've also been very careful in terms of, oh yeah, there's plants there, I can't do it. Not putting anything on the wrong side of the road, because you can do it a lot of the times, and it's fine. But when you have houses this close together, you cannot do it. I mean, you can, but chances are that tree is then gonna clip into this house, or like, it's gonna make it look messy. Like, I put just a few things on this side of the road, and you can still, they're still kind of in the way sometimes, so it's something to be mindful of. Okay. They also all have like a small garden, not necessarily that they're surviving off of, but every little bit helps, I'm sure. Why? What's happening? Why is that happening? Why are you like that? Firewood chopping block, huh? Huh? Why are you like that? Why are you like that? I didn't know it had a slot. That's fine. So I'm gonna put this over here. Where are we gonna do archery? I think over here. And I want to use this one. Ooh, I don't like the distancing here. I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna do one without. I do like that you can kind of put these off lot a little bit, but again, you have to be careful. You have to be mindful of, okay, well, if it's like this, is it gonna stick in the next slot I put? All right. I've also been using these a lot during this whole endeavor. That over there. That, by the way, is the single most useless piece of, not useless, useful piece of CC. It is so handy because not only can your pets bathe in it, but the toddlers can also bathe in it. I think children can as well, which gets a little weird, but like it's so handy when you don't have time to bathe dogs, especially, I can't talk today, especially in like medieval type settings when, why would you be bathing the dog? Like, it doesn't always make sense. So super handy. Super duper 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 handy. Alright. Another thing I've been doing is putting the dung heap, which does function as their trash, kind of in the back. That's why I have the gate so they can still get to it, but it's not like on their lot. I'll put this up front. I should have spilled that whole area. Yeah, I should. Okay. I am going to have to go back though, because I'm going very plant heavy on these lots in the wild areas. And yeah, I don't know if they can get to a lot of the things I placed. So there's going to be a lot of walkthrough blocks that I'm going to have to go back and place. And that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Not mad at that. Just also something to be mindful of. I do wish that I'd placed my plant palette towards the front of the lot, because I placed it back here thinking, well, that's where I'm placing all of them, which is true, but at the same time now I have to like get them out of the way so that I can start with a clean like palette setup. Palette's kind of a weird word. I think maybe I've just said it too much in the past 20 minutes, but yeah. It's already been 20 minutes. Oh my gosh. See, I'm not gonna be able to ramble like this when I'm doing this. Well, maybe. I gotta find a better way to do subtitles because the YouTube way is awful. Like, even when you're using the tool, like, it's like, no, you're gonna have to come back because these aren't loaded yet. And I'm like, what do you mean they're not loaded? I've typed all of them. You're not doing anything. Why are you acting like you're contributing to this project? It's a nightmare. I'm not happy. Also, normally I have the snap objects to grid off when I place those, but yeah. I'm only placing those in the paddock, so that's fine. And I don't really even need to, like, it's actual functional grazing grass, and those are not functional horses, but aesthetically I prefer it. Yeah, this might just be a long video, but you know what? It's New Year's Eve. I can do what I want. Speaking of, for the people that this is New Year's Eve for, I hope you're having a wonderful New Year's Eve. I don't really celebrate New Year's, like, I don't know. There's a lot of fireworks involved, and as I mentioned a couple days ago, I'm not a big fan of fireworks anymore. Nope, not happy with them. So, yeah, I'm going to be spending a lot of it probably trying to soothe my dog. Because I know you can go to the vet and like drug them, but I try not to do that all the time. Because I do feel like eventually that's got to be bad for her eventually, so I try to save it for major events. I'll put these here. I've been trying to hide these two spawners I've been using on most of the lots, but let's see if I can show you. Yeah, I've been trying to hide them kind of behind the outbuildings, but it's okay that sometimes they're visible. Yeah. Alright, we'll put this little fighting dude here. Alright, now for the fun part. Recoloring the scarecrow is not the fun part, I just wanted to make sure that I did it. Yeah, fun part, placing plants. So let's go with, alright, I want to place these first because I have been using this specific ground cover on these lots. I don't know why, I just started to, and I was like, alright, well they're the ones that get this. I do use it on the Jarl lot a little bit, but not really. I have one area near the front of the house that's uses that, so. I try to use like the low-lying ground cover first, but not necessarily this kind. Like these. Because it gives you a good like starting point. I tried doing it with the bigger trees first, but then like you have to go like this to see under them and make sure that you're like not placing it super duper weird. So yeah, I tend to start with this one now, because I found this is because you can always go back and add more, but this is the one that really seems like the best base layer to begin with. Because that's really all I'm doing here is I'm just layering lots and lots and lots of plants. Probably not in a way that necessarily makes sense. Oh, you got something on you there. I didn't realize they had slots there. That's fine. That's fine. You can have slots. Although this grass, I don't know why, like once you press shift so that it'll keep repeating, you have to like exit and then go back. Alright, let's try, I'm only going to place one of these. Because this is a very specific, like, shaped grass, so I don't like to use it too much. Let's place some of this. This is a really good, like layering grass, but it adds texture to bushes, I've found, which is really nice. Like when you've got a bunch of bushes that are a little bit samey, you can plunk this, which you can see is from the Aloha outdoor set. I don't know the creator of that, I'm sorry. And yeah, it breaks up the color and the texture. It makes it look a little bit more real, which I appreciate. Because that's the hardest thing for me when I'm like decorating yards and gardens is like, is this feasibly what it should look like? And that's a challenge for me. I spend a lot of time just looking at yards. I used to never even decorate yards at all, and then I watched Yodely Yodely decorate the Uberhood, and then I was like, well, I need to step it up. And I've tried ever since. I can't say I've been successful necessarily, but I've tried. Alright, where should we put the dog? I put the dog in various places. I like him looking like a Skyrim NPC a little bit. We'll put him by that fence. Okay, I don't want to do red flowers because the house is red and that's a bit much. Yeah, I'll place more. Alright, these little anemone bushes. I don't really want to do pink because the house is red. I mean, I guess we'll stick with the white. I like these because you can make them look like a bush depending on how you place them, because there's not a lot of hard edges to them. It's like, watch. That almost could be like one low-lying bush. And they're a good ground cover, so I try to place a lot of them. I also like placing things in between fences, so like it's growing through the fence, because, you know, real plants, that happens a lot. Although, I remember our neighbor, when I was really, really young, and I lived in Reno, Nevada, and our neighbor was just outraged that we had a bush that like some of the little leaves would stick through the wooden slat fence, and I'm like, there are gaps in the fence. It is a plant. I do not understand why you're upset. I do not understand how plants work. Is that what was happening here? And of course, I was an obnoxious kid, so I couldn't just leave it alone. My mom's like, go inside. This is adult stuff. And I'm like, no, it's not. He's acting like a child. So, well, it's not the best child to have when you were fighting with your neighbors, because then I wanted to fight, but, you know. I haven't really been placing this particular item too much on these lots. I placed it more on the peasant lots that have, like, bees. But I want one. I can have one in the horse paddock, right? Just one? Just one. Just one! I know there probably shouldn't be very many plants in there because, like, the horses are going to stomp them and stuff, but I don't care. I deserve them. So let's go in with this larger bush because I don't want to place a ton of bees because it's gigantic. But we want to start building up. We want to start building our layer cake of plants. As you can see what I mean by, I'm probably gonna have to come back in and be like, okay, they can't access that. Let's put everything on a walk-through block. But, it just looks pretty. It looks pretty, and I'm not going to apologize. I know you guys aren't gonna ask me to apologize. My Sims are gonna want an apology. And they're just gonna have to deal with it. This is the life that I have chosen for them, and they should be grateful. So yeah, that big kind of chunky boy plant really starts to fill it out. You can see we've got, you know, the grass, we've got this low-lying stuff. Layers, layers, layers. And then there's a little bit of a smaller one. It's the same one, it's just a little bit smaller. It's actually based, you can see birch tree Chevy. It's based on the birch tree in the game. Which I like because then you get a lot of similar textures going on. From top down it looks a little weird, but it's fine. As long as it looks okay when we're like playing, I don't care. That's the important bit. And then I've been kind of giving them more texture with this plant here because it's the same coloring and kind of shape, but it just fills it out a little bit more and breaks it up, which I like. It just makes it look a little bit more wild. Because my idea and the reason why I'm building up the edges of these lots so much is like, they are in a grassland, so there wasn't necessarily a lot of plants to begin with and foliage, but because now there's buildings, these plants have a foothold. The wind isn't going to be tearing them up because there's, you know, buildings and fences, and there's things to kind of help hold them down. Because, and I'm basing my entire grassland like knowledge based on the valley that I used to live in when I lived in Montana years ago. Like, you know, wind is a real thing, especially when there's no wind breaks. Things get dicey. So a lot of plants don't necessarily stick around because they just get pulled out by the wind or just beaten to heck. So that is my, that's the excuse that I'm using basically to have this many plants on these lots. And I think it's a valid and fine excuse. I'm going to use some of these. I try not to use too many because this is a larger kind of shrub. And the color is very different from like the other ones that I've used in the palette, but I can use a few. It looks like an apple from the top too, doesn't it? Sorry, I just needed to point that out because I see it and I would like it if one other person saw it, but you don't have to, it's fine. Alright, so we're going to throw some of these in. I've got two different options for like spiky pointy bushes is what we're going to go with. I've got this maple one, which is also based on a tree from the base game. Maybe not base game, from like EA itself. That maple tree that comes in a bunch of different colors. That's what this is based on. which I love when people take like those textures and, you know, they just made this into a bush instead of a tree, and so now it's a lot more useful in terms of like, it looks like things that are already in the game and you can use like with like. I enjoy that. And again, you can see I'm trying to break up the bushes a little bit so they're not so solid green. Because right now it's very emeraldy. And it just breaks up the color. Gives you different texture, a bit more like different consistency, I guess. I don't know. I like the way it looks. That's really the gist of my plant placements. And you can kind of see as well, I'm trying to make sure there's at least a bit of a clear path. It's going to be a hike for these poor Sims no matter what to go to their trash, but aesthetically I like it, so they're just going to have to deal with that. And then we'll place the other one as well. Again, just trying to break things up, make it look a bit more wild and more natural. Because like this one looks almost thorny. Oh my god, it's 36 minutes in. This is a long video, I'm sorry. Actually, no I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry. It's New Year's. I know that I'm not going to have a fun time in a few hours, so I deserve this. We all deserve this. Hope everybody stays safe. And if you have a dog like mine, that they are drugged out of their mind, or have a happy hoodie, because I'm telling you, the happy hoodie, gift from above. I learned about it from the girl with the dogs, and yeah, amazing. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pause here and show you like just the final touches, but you've got the gist. You see the layers, you see the broken up colors. It looks like a jungle and it pleases me. So I will see you in just 1 second. Okay, so we are finished with the last merchant lot. Next video here we will actually be going over the whole biome and just showing you what I've done here, but as you can see, I just added some more plants. I did some terrain paint, so it looks like, you know, they walk up and use the archery stand. They actually follow this path. Nothing complicated or fancy. I usually just kind of put dirt under the plants or in areas that seem to make sense. And yeah. Oh, I've already neglected something. Told you about the garden, and did I put a garden in? Did I put a garden in? No. Let's do some chili peppers. And some celery, why not? Celery's great. I used to hate celery so much, and then I think it was like 11 and I had the worst stomach ache, and we were all out to pizza anyways, and I couldn't eat anything because I just felt like I was gonna throw up. And they insisted that I eat something, so I ate the celery and I actually felt better. Probably because of the high water content, I don't know. But I've decided it's magic and I will not be dissuaded from that opinion. Okay, and some cabbages went out. This is fascinating watching me place plants. And then I've just been beep, beep, beep. Doesn't have to be straight, doesn't have to be perfect. And there you are, the last of the Yeoman lot. Yeoman? Yeoman? I don't know. That's such a weird word. I should just call it merchants because I sit and struggle with the word all the time. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's Eve if you happen to celebrate that. Just a wonderful day in general. And I will see you in the new year. If you like this video, definitely give it a like. And we're getting there. We're, I think, 3 out of 7 biomes down, so we are probably going to get to play this neighborhood this year, which will be great. So I will see you in the next one.